I'm Juanita Frier. So I'm from Johannesburg in South Africa. And I'm an artist. I've been an artist for about 25 years. And I'm here at home at the moment. Doing expressive art for about 20 years. I'm not sure what to say. I try to set it up so you can see a bit of the art behind me, of the kind of expressive style. But of course, the style can change, depending on through the years. Of course, you evolve. And the style changes, year to year. Like the work I did 20 years ago is not the same as the work I'm doing today. And art's a big commitment, I think, that I made. It's a committed thing that you do, it's going to be like a lifelong path that you walk. I love working on canvas. I usually love working on the, when you buy the rolls and it's unstretched. So you just have the cloth, just the fabric. I love working on that the most. But I also do other things. I also do like work with offcuts of wood, creating, like sculptural pieces, maybe from wood. But canvas is my favorite, and then acrylic, using acrylic, also oil pastel, and sometimes collage as well. That is also for me that's a very fun part of art, I think, because I never know what I'm going to do. So I always just get everything together, get your paint colors, get your cloth outside. For the last 2 years, I've been just painting in the garden at home. Before that, we had a studio, a live-in studio, where I lived in my studio. And that was full time. That was day and night. That's all you do is paint, paint, paint. But for the past 2 years, I'm back at home. And now it's more balanced. My painting process is more balanced. It's not like so intense like it was 2 years ago. So now when the sun's right and the birds are singing, I take all my things out to the garden. And and then I just get into the moment. You have to put yourself aside and be in the moment and, just go with, whatever comes to you. Like sometimes it's a shadow of a plant where the painting will begin. Or sometimes it's just you see these two birds fluttering in the sky and you want to echo that. So that's where you begin on the canvas. So it's very random and it's always very interesting and curious because I don't know what it's going to be, ever. So it's also nice for me to see what comes out. And through the years, I've learned to accept what comes out without judging it or criticizing it too much, as long as it was true to the moment and honest, in the time that it was created. It's one of the most important things for me to remember as a rule, because when I say ego, it means, the judgment, the insecurity, the fears, the criticism, the self-doubt, all of that. And when you, in the beginning, 20 years ago, when I just, when I was starting to paint, I found that was blocking me a lot. Like as soon as I created a painting, I would think, oh no, this is terrible, and then paint immediately over it. And through the years, you've learned the difference between what's your ego and what's not your ego. And now I think I'm at a place where it doesn't interfere. You can put it aside and accept that this is not about you. Art is not about you. It has a life of its own, and you are a very small part of art. Art is it's almost like a big picture. It's like saying, it's like the sky. It's and when you start attaching yourself to it, you become a little bit confused, I think. And also, I think humor, when you can see the light side of things, because life's not always so black and white, so simple, it's not always good and bad or day and night. There's a lot of humor, I think, even in the oppressed and the oppressor, when it gets now to like real people and real situations and politics and things. I think it's important to keep a light heart and to find the humor in things. And also, I think that art is actually like almost like a gate or a door that goes beyond that goes beyond the oppressed and the oppressor. Because when I look even in the garden at nature, I mean, there's a lot of little bugs that look quite scary, you know, that's quite ugly and scary. But if you just focus on that, you're going to miss the rest of the garden. Do you know what I mean? All the other things in the garden. So it also keeps you kind of grounded and looking more to a big picture than rather getting lost in, like, you know, the duality of just, you know, the good and bad of things. So I think that's where the freedom comes as well, you know, from doing art. It's like being able to go beyond those things. I'm not sure if it would be abstract. I know that I'm trying to move away from too many figures, because it seems like a lot of my work has, you know, just become figures. And I think that was maybe my own mind being a bit stuck, you know, accepting only to be able to make figures. So I went through a whole patch, like I think it was the whole of last year, mostly, where I was trying to think, you know, if a figure comes, I change it into like two crocodiles or something. So because I think that's also attached to people, there's animals and ancestry, plants. I think all of it is really a part of life, you know, and I think we've become almost not egocentric, but a little bit egocentric, because we think the whole world is about humans and we are the most important thing on the planet. And that's of course not true, because without the plants and the little bees, you know, and the ants and things, we wouldn't even be able to be here. So I think there must be, in your mind at least, a harmony among all living things. You know, so I've been trying to move away from the figurative, because I think people might see it as, oh yeah, people are the most important, when that's not what I'm trying to say. So I don't know if it's abstract the way I draw people, because I do think that your inner world creates your outer world. So I think that's what this painting kind of resembles. Like your whole inner world is what you are going to see on the outer world, you know, in this painting. But of course, the two are essential for each other. You know, so sometimes I think it depends what you focus on in an artwork. If you're trying to talk about the inner works of a human, or if you're trying to say that humans are not that important, really. You know, so I think that also comes through in just, you know, different artworks. Before, yes. I did that before, and I don't know how to feel about it, you know, because not all my work, maybe here and there might be one, but of course everyone's completely different, you know, and I think he did maybe pave a way for absolute expressionism, where you can really just be yourself and express whatever is in your heart at that time, you know. But I would not say that if you look at the history of all my art, I mean, there is absolutely no way you can say that each one reminds you of Basquiat. You know, maybe one here and one there. But yeah, maybe he was just a big influence on me as well. You know, I love the guy. I love the guy's work. Zanzibar. Oh, no, I went to Zanzibar on an art residency. And that was one, of course, going places makes you very open, you know, because you've never been there. Everyone was speaking a different language. They all speak Swahili there. I mean, it's boiling hot. It's like 36 degrees, like in the shade kind of thing. You know, it's really hot. Everything was very different. But of course, you go explore, you walk in the streets. And I think that literally was just inspired by the people of Zanzibar, not a specific person, you know, because I didn't really meet that many people. But there's a lot of people there on bicycles. People are so healthy and vibrant there, you know, they have a lot of energy and they're so healthy because of the heat. They sweat a lot, you know, no one's overweight or unfit or anything like that. So I remember that place clearly, and I think I just open to the experience. And that series was, I think, just about the people and the vibrancy